Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Bull Prospecting. So I was really excited to share this video. In other videos, in the past video, showed this iron meteorite, but with some further testing, I just wanted to show you some updated stuff that we got. First, let's go over. Obviously, it's magnetic. This is a neodymium magnet that I recovered from a hard drive, and it's super magnetic. You can hear the metallic sound. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a screenshot of its X-ray. Okay, now from that X-ray, you can see that it's got titanium, cobalt, and manganese inside of it. Okay, and let's just talk about those three minerals real quick. Let me just spin this so you can see. And again, this is very heavy. It's very dense. To get this window in here, it was actually a very difficult challenge. So I'm going to try to get this situated in such a way to where I can zoom in, and there we go. I think that just should suffice. Let me see if I can turn it just a little bit more. Okay, there we go. Now this is the smaller piece I cut off of it when I was trying to make the window. Okay, that's the smaller piece that I cut off of it when I was trying to make the window. And you can see on the other side, it's actually got, have to zoom in on this, put a picture in there, but you can actually see what looks like, oops, oh, look at that, stuck right to the magnet. But you can see it's got orientation on the back side. And so now here's the thing. The XRF reader, all right, if you understand how an XRF works, it's only going to be able to penetrate into this thing, if you're lucky, 1/4 inch. And that's real. So basically the bottom half of this is what it was reading, and it was only able to read maybe 1/8 inch if you're lucky. Now, based on those numbers, this appears to be some type of super alloy, because if you do any research of alloys, you'll come to find out that a lot of this stuff that's in there, like especially manganese, cobalt, and titanium, are relatively new to mankind, especially titanium. So I'd like to just talk about titanium real quick. So in 1910, a fellow started using titanium to create pigments, because titanium was like super white, and they actually put it in sunscreen today. But in 1910, it was basically used as a pigment in paint. And now let's fast forward to I believe it was like 1835. I'll leave the numbers on there, but next was the discovery of metallic titanium. That was a whole process to even just get a gram of that. I'm going to leave all these pictures in here. So based on this information, we know that metallic titanium wasn't produced until 1948, and it was the United States military who used those 200 tons. All right, and this has 0.3% titanium, cobalt, manganese, gold, and I do believe nickel. But like I said, that machine was only able to read this bottom half. So the gold content and other mineral content is going to be a lot higher if we were able to scan each slice. If we were able to scan 100% of this thing, the gold content and the other minerals inside would be way more. So what I'm getting at is, in order for this to even exist, it had to be created in the vacuum of space. Because the fact that this was in the ground, and the iron and stuff like that, so it can't be a man-made alloy. There's too much gold in this thing for this to be a man-made alloy. People were so crazy about gold that they were just going to crunch this stuff up and get the gold out of it. They didn't care, you know, if it had special scientific value. Now that's really important. So in 1948, we start producing titanium, and the chances of a 8-pound chunk falling somewhere to be alloyed. And if you look at the alloys of mankind over the years, you'll see that titanium was alloyed with steel, but before that, it was cobalt. It was cobalt and steel. Then later on, titanium and steel. So the fact that these have those three components with a high amount of gold inside, tells us that this is definitely, made in the vacuum of space. And that in itself is just absolutely amazing to me. And we're going to try to zoom in and try to show you some of the structures here. And I'll try to get a lot closer. Let me zoom out and get closer so you can get a better look at it up close. You can actually see a piece of gold right there. Now, if I move the light, it still actually has a reflection. See how I move the light? I blocked the light from it, and we still got some type of reflection going on there. I do believe those could be some type of diamond. But they're tiny. They're tiny, tiny, tiny. Trying to spin this around. Let me just get it like this with it. Zoom out again. I really love looking into this thing because it's amazing. You hit it in different lights and you just see new things that are just amazing. So I'm going to try to do this light right now, which is a little bit lower. And let's see if we can get a clearer view. And there's like a red dot in there. It's almost like a pink. And I honestly thought I would see more blues. There's actually like blue sparkles in here. And I'm trying to show you how, like, at different angles, it reflects differently. And now I'm going to show a picture right now. Now what I've done is I took a picture of this area here. I'm going to show a picture of it, and then I'm going to show you a picture of it when it's saturated. I take the color and I blow it up so you can actually see it a lot better. Now let's see if we can get in here. Sorry about that. Let's see if we can get it cleared up right there. Sorry for the reflection. The high polish makes it almost kind of hard to really look at. There we go. That's better. It's not so bright. Okay, let's zoom in. Try to go as far in as I possibly can. I'm going to just kind of walk it around. Now these structures are what I want to show you. See how they're angular? Let me get something set up so I can stop this camera from shaking. Okay guys, so here we go. I got the camera still. I'm going to try to get this out a little bit further. And the thing is, I got to hold the back of the phone, so I get it just to where it's not tipping over. Alright, see what we got right there. See if I can zoom in some more. That's maximum zoomed. Just look at the patterns in that. I'm going to keep this still. But look up, just look how everything is just kind of like boxy. Oh, come on. This thing is so wild, dude. This thing is amazing. This thing is so amazing. See if I can spin this around now. Yeah, this thing is so amazing, dude. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and weigh them up. And here we go. 8 pounds, 12 ounces, and 8 pounds, 12 ounces. Okay, it is registering. 8 pounds, 12 ounces. 12.4 ounces to be exact. Look at this beauty. Now let's put this on pause and I'll show you its surface features. Okay, now we're going to check out its surface features. Now here's something that's odd. This almost looks like the outside crust could be like a pure manganese. I mean, it's really hard. Just some kind of show you. It's really hard. There's nothing that's it's like welded. You know, this thing is big time magnetic. And let's just kind of zoom in on that crust, right? Look at that, dude. How amazing is that? Okay, and now here's a real cool spot. Like, looks like we got a rollover with some pooling. Like it was coming in like this and the stuff was kind of rolling back. Zoom in there. Look at that, dude. That's heavy pooling, bro. Wow, man. Wow. Wow. We're just spin this thing around and just kind of take a look at it from every angle, you know. And that's a tough part, but here we go. Yeah, look at this, man. Let me zoom in on that. Look at that, man. That is crazy, dude. Wow. I did perform a density test, and it's comes as a 4.10. And you can actually see, if I spin it this way, you can actually see a direction of which way it looked like it was going. So we got a lot of stuff going this way, and it looks like it's coming up this way and pooling up here on the top. Let's just get a picture of the back side of it. I want to show you guys something too. So let me get this just right. Now check this out. When I first got this thing, I didn't know it was a meteorite, and I put heat to it right here, and I literally, it started sweating. Like, it started sweating. It wasn't quick. It took like maybe 2 minutes or something, but this little bit of stuff that was on it started to sweat and bubble, and it stunk bad. It stunk real bad. This little piece right here. So it stunk like I don't know, man. It's hard to explain, but I'll never do that again. It wasn't like a sulfur smell, but that's the only spot. I had a little tiny jewelry torch because the stuff's got gold in it. Now here's the thing, dude. Here's what we, now let's talk about this for a second. Now we know cobalt wasn't really a thing until the 1900s. We know that titanium wasn't anything until the mid 1900s. 1948, 1950 is when it really started taking off. So the fact that this has cobalt, titanium, and manganese, gold, it blows my mind. Because here's the thing. The fact that it's got gold in it, we know how gold was formed. Gold was formed in space by two neutron stars colliding in space with each other. Here's my thoughts. During that collision, could it have ejected some super alloys, and they just kind of spun around in our atmosphere until one day, they slowly worked our way in towards Earth's gravity and then landed? Because for this, no man is going to take, man didn't even have, I'm going to leave some melting points real quick on certain metals. Like titanium, it's 3,000 degrees melting point. Gold, 1,900 degrees melting point. And iron, these things have a high melting point. And then to alloy all this stuff together, it's too big of a chunk to alloy that type of stuff together and leave it to the wayside. All right, and the fact that it's lasted, I don't know how long it's been in my yard, but I would assume a long time. But depending on how long it's been sitting in my yard, the elements haven't eaten it up. So, and this is the other side of it. Now we're gonna let's zoom in and check this side out. Look at that, man. super dense, super heavy. And you can actually see physical gold in the cut in the window. You can also see a little piece of it right next to the window. Let me see if I can find it again. I'll show you. It's like somehow in the crust. There's some right here in the crust. And this is the side. Here's the thing. Here's what I want to point out. That it was on this side when the x-ray was reading it. Right? This could be part of that 0.10 grams of gold in this thing. All right? And if that's the case, this, if you were to put it in slices, this has a substantial amount of gold inside of it, which is amazing to me. And you can actually see on the crust here, right in here, that's actually like gold. This is the side it was on, so this would be part of that 1% alloyed gold that it was saying. Heavily alloyed. And this thing is just, it's bonkers, dude. I really need to get more analysis into this. This is a very important discovery. And if there's anybody out there in the scientific community that would like some more information, I will definitely try to gather that for you. The XRF machine that I used was actually from my buddy. He owns a jewelry shop, and he let me use his machine. And he's the guy that told me, well, he's only able to punch into it a certain depth, and more than likely these numbers are going to be way higher than what we're seeing. So just kind of imagine if we were to take, for example, it probably, look how skinny this is. See how skinny that is? That's about the depth that XRF scanned the bottom of that meteorite. So now if we were to take that slice and slice that all the way up, all the way across, and then run those numbers, the numbers are going to be a lot higher, and you're going to see a lot more minerals that you didn't see in that first x-ray. So if I maybe just need a more powerful machine, and like I said, my buddy's XRF machine, it's for jewelry. So this was actually, we had a hard time actually fitting it in the machine, and it would only fit one way. So we were like, okay, well, that's how we got to do it. But for this to be alloyed with titanium, cobalt, manganese, gold, and there's nickel in here. You know it. So, like I said, that was found in the yard, man. That was found, sorry for my dog. She ate a rotten biscuit or something. No, I'm not kidding. But look at that. That looks, now this whole thing, that thumbprint, look at that, man. That's like a perfect thumbprint. Like I can hold it. My thumb fits right in there. Look at that. That's a regmaglyph, man. Wow. This is just so amazing. I'm going to leave some pictures up at the end. And like I said, man, just research it for yourself. The history of, iron and how it was, where it comes.
Some of the earliest evidence of iron being used as a material goes back as far as 3500 BC in Egypt, where beads of iron taken from a meteor were found. Meteoric iron was a highly prized material due to its heavenly association. Tutankhamun was buried with a dagger made of the material, but meteoric iron was the only naturally occurring source of iron at the time, because iron reacts readily with oxygen to form iron ore. There is no oxygen in space, so meteors delivered this material to Earth in a form humans could use without having the technology to extract it from its ore. The Iron Age began at various points across the world as humans started to learn how to extract iron from its ore.
Okay, guys, now here's the piece I cut off of it. This is 4.2 grams. Let's zoom in here. And I'm also going to set this camera up so we can take a look at both sides of it. Yeah, look Look at that, dude. Oh, that's so awesome. See, the smaller piece is easier to control and move around, so you can see all the cool stuff inside it. And let's get this set up so we can just look at this guy zoomed in real close. Okay, here's the other side of it. Let's see if we can zoom in. Okay, that's zoomed into the max. Just kind of scrolling around so you can see. This thing is so amazing, dude. Now I'll zoom back out. Now what I'm going to do is flip it over to try to show you its surface. Easier said than done. Oops, I've done it. Okay. Now we're going to look them over and we're going to weigh them up. Now, if you do research on the history of metals, iron itself, iron is not going to be found in its native state because it would be oxidized and turn into rust. You have to remove the oxygen. That's how this type of stuff was made in space. I'll leave a link to that video in the description below. Hopefully I can find it. Or I'll leave a little clip of it here. But anyways, doing some research on titanium, cobalt, manganese, and gold, and iron, they're not an alloy that exists for man. And the fact that even just that certain face, the face of that was red, and like I said, the face of that X-ray only read about that deep. And for those numbers to be so specific, like 0.3, 0.3, 0.3, could this be something that was made in the creation of Earth? Is this something that was a foreign spacecraft and from, millions of years ago that got burned up and parts of it were just melted down in supernovas and spit across space? Man, there's so much more to know about this. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one.